Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Todd coming at you with another episode of Living Your Best Life. As always, I wanted to say thank you for giving us some of your time this afternoon, morning, evening, night, wherever you are, whenever you are in this universe right now. But of course, what we do in our shows, we invite professionals on to talk about what they do and how what they do is contributing to a wealthier society, a healthier society, just a better society overall. That's the basis of the show. We go out and we find people that are out in the trenches each and every day helping you do just that. Live your best life. Today we have like just a spark of energy, a guest on today. She is someone that I met just recently and was just so in awe of her spirit and her spunk and her spark for life and her zest for health and wellness. And I am just so honored to actually just be a part of her network now because I'm learning so much from her. We had an awesome conversation. I can't wait till you get to it because you're going to gain so much from her. Her name is Tsai. She is out of the Canada area. So she's not even in the United States. It's really cool to be able to bring you people that are not from the country, but living in the country, but actually you can still access them. But she is doing some awesome things with her business. She is a Reset-It specialist. And we're talking about mindset here because this is so important as we journey through life. We want to always, if we're striving for anything, whether it's business, whether it's career, whether it's health or prosperity, you name it, it all starts in the mind. And she's going to talk about that and how the system that she uses is helping people overcome a lot of the challenges that they are dealing with in a very short amount of time. And that's one thing that we feel as though we don't have enough of. We feel as though we don't have enough time in a day to accomplish our goals. Well, she's come up with, or she has a unique method in helping you achieve an ultimate outcome in a shorter period of time. And I can't wait for you to listen to it and take in what she's going to be talking about. In the meantime, everybody, we're going to cut to a commercial. You know what the commercial is, of course. Like I said last time before, by the look of my gray hair right now, you probably can guess that I'm over 50. Yes, I'm 57 years old and a really happy and proud 57-year-old person. But anyway, I want you to download this really cool list of foods, this guide of foods that we should stop eating after the age of 50. Okay, stop eating after the age of 50. And like I said last time, if you can't stop it, at least reduce the amount of these foods that you're consuming on a daily or weekly basis or what have you. So, but anyway, download the guide in the commercial and I'll get back to you on the other side of the commercial. Y'all take care. Miss Amy Tsai out of Canada, Reset-It specialist, is coming up on the show. Y'all take care. See you on the other side. Bye-bye. Hey, welcome back, everybody. This is Todd, of course, with another episode of Living Your Best Life, as I said already in the introduction, right? But hey, no worries. But anyway, like I said, today we have an awesome young lady on to talk about how do I want to. Mindset is one thing. Now, if you know me, I'm really into mindset. But the way that I think her approach is really authentic and it's really unique, and that's why I wanted to have her on the show. And plus, she comes from the area of I'm not going to tell you her story, but she comes from the area of fitness, and so it's really near and dear to my heart. And so, but like I said, she is a coach and she talks about mindset. But I really want her to share who she is and what she does and how what she does is contributing to a better society. So everybody, I want to say welcome to the show to Amy Tsai. Did I say your name correctly? I meant to ask you that earlier. Did I say it correctly?
You did. You did. It's
Oh,
T and S
good.
together. It's Tsai. So if you know anybody that's Greek, like they have a lot of t in there. So, but yes, you
Yeah.
did absolutely say it correctly.
Ooh, I was wondering, I didn't realize that until like, I was like, uh-oh, I gotta make sure I get the name
Were you
correct.
sweating?
But yeah, well, like I said, I was like, that was one of my trouble things that I just looked at your name and I was like, I think I'm going to mess her name up, or I'm just going to take a stab at it and see where I land. So
You did well. You did
we did
well.
all
Thank you.
right. But Well, thank you so much for hanging out. The first time that we met, I just loved your energy and I love what you were doing. And I wanted to have you on the show to talk about what you do and that kind of stuff. So, um, thank you once again for hanging out. And just kind of like give us an introduction to who Amy is.
Yeah, well, you know what? I mean, fitness is near and dear to my heart too. I remember the first, I don't know, somehow I managed to have a muscle and fitness magazine. Is that even still in circulation anymore, Todd? Do you know?
I haven't seen one of those in quite a while. And so this is kind of like, for all of you young people out there, that was like my go-to magazine back in the day.
Wasn't, are we dating ourselves?
Oh my goodness, are we?
Maybe, huh? Yeah, so somehow had a muscle and fitness magazine in my hands probably when I was 16, 15, 16 years old. And when I saw that, I was like, oh, what's this? And then
Yeah.
next thing you know, I ended up at the local gym signing up for a membership. And I remember when I walked in, it was like at a plaza and like a strip mall, and you had to go
Hmm.
downstairs. And I walked into this place and I fell in love.
You did? Wow.
I
Yeah,
did.
yeah, yeah,
I did. The front desk was right here on the left. And if you walk in, there was some machines. And if you go to the right, was all the free weights. And if you went to the left, it was the group exercise studio, which was kind of like
yeah,
sort of open concept feel, but
yeah.
it didn't have doors, but it had at least a barrier in between the weights and the studio. And I was just like, wow, this is so cool. And
Wow.
that was the beginning.
Now, I have to ask, about what year was this about?
What year? Okay,
Yeah.
so let me think here. It would have been in the early 80s, early 80s.
Wow. Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, so
yeah,
I was
yeah.
born, I'm like, I'll be 55 this year.
Oh, look at you. Look at you.
Yeah, so it would have been in the early 80s. I think,
Yeah,
yeah, because
yeah.
I'm figuring I was born in 1969. My math is not great, so I'm thinking early 80s.
So were you in Toronto at that time too?
No, I grew up in St. Catharines, so which is
Okay,
near Buffalo, which is closer to Buffalo.
okay, okay, gotcha, gotcha. So you were in the States here, but still up, towards that area.
Yeah, so it was
And
in the Horseshoe area. So yeah, so it was in a small town called St. Catharines here in Ontario, which was about an hour and a bit to the border, to the US border.
okay,
Yeah, so very
gotcha,
close.
gotcha. And I say that because I remember when I was back, when I walked into a gym, our gym was downtown Greensboro. And if anyone's watching this episode right now, if you remember Ronnie Barnes' gym. It was an old beat up gym. It was downtown Greensboro, and they had like no AC, and all they had were these big fans. But it was just the best. I would ride my bike from my neighborhood all the way downtown, about maybe 4 or 5 miles, and I would ride my bike to the gym. That's how dedicated I was. I love being in the gym environment. And so, like yourself, started in the 80s, well, probably a little bit earlier for me on the back porch, when we had the concrete weights
Yeah,
back then. But hey, long time, but here we are now.
right. 30 some odd years later, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
fitness has always been a huge part of my life. I've never really given it up. I've never even taken a break.
Wow, wow, wow. So, I guess you incorporate all types of fitness modalities and things into your life, such as, of course, weight resistance, but also probably things like bike riding and nature outdoors and that kind of things, those kind of things too, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was a gym rat. I mean, I love being
Wow,
then
wow.
one day, not that long ago, maybe about 15, no, maybe a little bit longer than that, maybe 15, 16 years ago, I remember talking to somebody who used to come to my class, and she's telling me like, oh, Amy, I have to take it easy today because I was just mountain biking and canoeing and kayaking and hiking and rock climbing, da 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 da. This was just, every Monday I would see her. And then I was like,
Hmm.
oh my goodness, I need to get outside.
Oh, wow. Yeah, yeah.
And then I went completely swung the other way and
Wow.
do lots of outdoor activities. So my girlfriend, I was like, hey, can you take me mountain biking? Hey, can you take me rock climbing? Hey, can you take me camping? And she would always just drag me around everywhere she went. So,
Gotcha.
so that's how I
So do
became
you think
yeah, I'm big into mountain biking. That's my favorite outdoor activity.
Gotcha. So do you think that we kind of overlook the different types of activities that we can incorporate into our lives? Because when we talk about getting in shape, and this is something that I stress, to my clients too. When we talk about getting in shape and just taking control of your health, it doesn't always mean going to the gym,
For sure.
you
Absolutely.
know. Yeah. And
Yeah.
so,
I believe
yeah.
in like do what you love, do what you like, do
Mhm.
what you're curious about, right? So if you're not someone who's very active and want to be more active, it's not about what's the best exercise for me. The best exercise for you is the one that you're going to enjoy the most. Right? Because I
Hmm.
consider it like when we're kids and you can just run out the door and you just be playing
Yeah.
all day,
Yeah.
you're running around, climbing
Climbing trees. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so it's like playing outdoors or just playing, physical playing. And that's how
Hmm.
that's how I equate fitness to or physical activity to is just outdoor or just playing with your body, right? Just getting out there and having fun. And the more fun you
Yeah.
have, the more likely you're going to do it again, right? So if you're not
Yeah.
into flipping tires, or running marathons, well, guess what?
Yeah.
I mean, running a 5K or 5 mile or whatever it may be, is going to be tough, right? It's going to be hard.
Yeah.
And you want to make it
Yeah.
easy
You're
for
not gonna want
yourself.
to go back to it.
You're not
Yeah.
going to do it, right? I mean, people ask me all the time, what's the best exercise? Well, it depends. What do you like doing? If you like, I find a
Mhm.
lot of women, they love dancing. And I'm
Oh my
like,
goodness. Yeah.
right? I said, okay, I've done a Zumba class. I sweated buckets in a Zoom class. And
Yeah.
so if you love that, then just go do more of it because that is,
Yeah.
that's movement, right?
That's one of the things my wife she really enjoys. She enjoys because she's a dancer. Me, I am not a dancer. I will say, everyone, I am not a dancer. All right. I'll just let you know that right now. I can do like a two-step kind of thing and kind of get away with it. But anything outside of a two-step, it's gonna look kind of awkward for me. But but that's each to each his own. And she loves dance, and that's how she really gets her she gets some movement in, with through dance. And but once again, everyone it's not for everyone, and the gym is not for everyone, but just do something that you enjoy, like you say.
Exactly. And I find a lot of women love to go walking. They love walking and hiking and just go do more of it,
Hmm.
right? And because you can get, I mean, I don't really enjoy walking, but my
Yeah.
husband sometimes walks to work to his meetings and he will
Hmm.
walk there and back, or at least one way. It's 5 kilometers. So that's like what, 3.5 miles, maybe 3 miles. And I'm telling you, the difference when he goes and walks that kind of distance two, 1, 2, 3 times a week, I could see it in his body, the difference it makes. So
Wow.
when
Yeah.
when people say, "Hey, can you lose weight or can you get fit from walking?" Absolutely, you can.
You can.
You can.
Yeah. And that's something that, I see, you see on some of the ads that might pop up on, whatever social media sites, trash, throw away walking. No, 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 no. Walk, move. That's my thing. Now, a question for you. Why don't you enjoy walking? I'm curious.
It's not enough.
I was going to think, I
Yeah.
was going to say that. Yeah. I was thinking that it's probably not enough intensity for
It's not
it.
enough intensity. I find it kind of boring. I
Yeah.
need
Yeah.
like, I get, like it's like the difference between road cycling and mountain biking.
Yeah. Yeah.
I prefer mountain biking because I'm there, I'm in the moment and I have to pay attention and like all the bumps and turns and trees and things like that. Where my husband is like, oh my goodness, that is just way too much for my head. And being on a road bike, I'm like, oh, well, like when, like how many more kilometers? I'm just going in a straight line. It's
Yes,
killing me.
yes, that is so. I'll have to admit, I have a client. I just spoke with her this morning, and she's going to be watching our video. She's your twin, I will say, and she is pretty much the exact replica of who you are, in the sense that when I first met her, Judy, as you're watching this,
Hi,
when I first
Judy.
met her, when I first met her, it was interesting because very small, petite woman, but just like she goes hard all the time. And it kind of caught me off guard because I thought
You're
she
like,
was gonna,
whoa.
yeah, it
What do
caught
I
me
do
off
with that?
guard. Yeah, exactly. But that's how she gets down. And so I just thought that was, as when you said that you're not a walker like that, I had to ask you why, because I felt as though it's probably not as intense as you normally like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell me a little bit about where you are now, because right now, as I have gotten older, um, when I was 25 years old, let me start there. When I was 25 years old, life was about the six-pack abs. Life was about, getting in and bench pressing 315 pounds. That's what it was about, especially as it relates to the gym. But as I've gotten older, life has a new, type of set. And so now it's about, I want to be well. And if six packs come along, with it, perfect. But I want to be well. I want to move. I want to feel better. I want the numbers to look right when I go to the doctor. So it's a different mindset
Mhm.
now. So mindset is so key when it comes to being well. Mindset is so key when it comes to being healthy.
Mhm.
So where you are now with you're still very active, but now you are what's called a reset it coach
Yes, reset a
and
specialist.
reset it specialist. Okay, gotcha. And I would love to kind of like dive a little bit into what that is and yeah, and talk a little bit about that.
Okay, for sure. So like, so I went from loving fitness as at a very young age to becoming a trainer, so a fitness trainer and a fitness instructor. And then I went turned into a fitness coach. So when I did that, I specialized in women over 40, helping women to lose weight without having to diet and to love their bodies forever. Because for women, it's all about, losing weight and loving your body. Those are the two biggest things that women have trouble with, right? And then from there, so in my career, I've always been searching for ways to help people change their habits easier. Because as you know, changing habits is no walk in the park, right? It takes it
Yeah.
could take years, it could take your whole lifetime, depending on what it is. And
hmm
I've done lots of things. I've had an energy healer for 20 years. I became a Reiki 2 energy healer as well myself. I've done like past regression, hypnotherapy. I've done like
Wow.
I can meditate for hours on end just so I can feel better. Right. And what does that even mean? It's like you can always feel like there's something holding you back. There was always something. And I could see it in my clients as well. There was always something that was holding them back that from their goals and who they want to be. So
hmm
after 25 years in my career, I finally found it. And it's this Reset It program. And when I met this man online, like a networking event that I would always go to, and he would say to me, I was like, "Oh yeah, what do you do?" He goes, "Yeah, I teach people how to reset the things that don't belong to them." And I knew right away exactly what he meant. And I'm like, "Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that
Was
right?"
it because of your clients?
Yeah, because of we just always we know what's holding us back, but for some reason it's like carrying a sandbag around. You can never let it go. So even with all the
Yeah.
energy healing that I've done, even with the meditating that I've done, even all the past regression, all the things that I did, although I felt better, that sandbag was still there. It might be lighter,
Mm.
but I could always feel that it was still there. And I didn't know how to get rid of it. So when I did this Reset It program myself a year ago, um, the results were immediate. They were immediate. And I said to him afterwards, I was like, "Hey, like, do you teach this to anybody else?" He goes, "Yeah, I'm going to be starting a teacher training program." And he goes, "Are you interested?" I'm like, "Oh, yes."
Mhm.
Because at the very least, I'm going to help my clients, but at the most that I was interested because I want to get rid of all of my programs and conditions. Like I don't want to live with any of it anymore, right? Never mind just the ones that are bugging me. I just don't want to live with any of them, whatever they were. So then I started to do the teacher training program, and what that meant was really to reset all of my programs and conditions. And I was like, "Yes, sign me up now." And that took a few months. And so the reason being I became a reset specialist was well, that I had to reset all my programs and conditions was because when I work with my clients, you have to be neutral. Like you don't want to be triggered by whatever the other person's saying. So that
Mhm.
interested me a lot because I was like, not that I get triggered a lot, but you can kind of feel things coming on. So, and that's how I became a reset it specialist. And basically what that is teaching people how to reset the the things that no longer serve them. So for example, in the work that I do, as a fitness or as a health coach for women over 40, diet culture is a program that doesn't belong to you.
Mhm.
Not feeling good in your body or being happy with your body is a program that doesn't belong to you. What else would be things like not feeling good enough is a program that doesn't belong to you. Being a people pleaser is a program that doesn't belong to you, right? Not feeling good enough. Did I say that already? Yeah, guilt and
Yeah.
shame are programs that don't belong to you, right? And around the health and fitness, there's a lot of guilt and shame out there because guilt and shame is the foundation of diet culture, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Hey, I can't eat this. That goes straight to my thighs. That's a
Mhm.
program. That's a condition that we've picked up along the way to believe that to
Mhm.
make you believe that that's true. If you eat that, that will go onto your thighs, right? If you eat a piece
Mhm.
of cake,
Yeah.
feeling bad for not going to the gym, feeling bad for not whatever, and feeling bad for not eating, healthy meals or whatever it may be, right? So these are all programs and conditions that we've picked up along the way that's causing us not to be who we want to be and not and making getting to our goals a lot harder. Am I saying that right?
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. There we go. Wow.
Yeah.
You know, I can't, I'm sitting here thinking as I'm listening to you, there's a lot of baggage, or there's a huge sandbag, in other words.
Understand that.
As you just laid it out there, it's like, I'm like, so, okay, which one am I? Which one am I? Even though I'm not that female of 40, but I am still,
You
I
still
have,
have
I
it.
have, I have the sandbag, you know, it might have M on it versus F, but it's still,
It's still a sandbag. And we all live in program. We all live in our programs and conditions. Everything, how we think, feel, and behave is based on our programs and conditions. Most
in
of it.
your in your journey, and it's not to take you away from your credentials, because a lot of times in what I do, Amy, is that I've noticed that I can also be somewhat, like a therapist in a sense for my clients, and I don't mind. I love it. I love it when they can express and share and have that moment in time with me and be able to just kind of like let down, and I don't mind that at all. Um, but it seems like this is almost a therapy session with with what you're doing and how you're having to unravel, helping people see themselves,
Mhm.
to unravel what they should unravel.
Right. It is in a way, but it isn't in a way. So it's not like talk therapy where you got to divulge and relive that whole experience over again, right?
Okay.
It's not
Yeah.
as it's probably the least traumatic, and it's not even dramatic. It's literally the resetting tool that we implement is literally a conversation. It's literally
Mm.
a conversation. So you're not being hypnotized. There's nothing weird going on. We're both completely conscious of what's being said. And because people wonder, like, is this NLP? Is this, is it that? I'm like, it's
But
none of those things.
that's what I was wondering, if it was NLP, but
It's
like
not
you said, no,
NLP.
it's not.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's not. So this man, I'll get it's resetit.ca, but Mark Mathis is the creator, and he had his own health experience. And to make a long story short, he has sleep apnea to the point where
Mm-hmm.
he had to be put on a ventilator
Feedback.
to help
Yeah.
him
Oh,
breathe.
anyway.
Yeah,
Wow.
so it was pretty severe. And every time he went on this machine, he came when he came out of it, he felt something weird. It wasn't just physiological, it was something more like on an energetic level. And I believe that he had a quantum leap, is really what he had.
Mhm.
And then he's like, this is so bizarre. So he took a 2-year sabbatical, and I think it ended up being 4 years in the end. But needless to say, he spent a lot of time. He decided not work and just dive into neuroscience and quantum physics. And through his studies, he figured out how to reset these programs and conditions that we live in because it's driving our how we think, how we behave, and how we what we think,
Yeah.
do, and be, right? And that's what's causing all that's why it's so hard to change habits. And I, like everybody else, all the other coaches out there, I used to run 6-month, 12-month programs to help people to break these habits, like to ditch the diet culture and start tuning into their bodies. And it would take literally 6 months just to break the ice. right? But with this new
Mhm.
tool, it's literally in 90 minutes.
That's what I found to be even more impressive when we talked one time. It's like,
Yeah.
wait a minute, because I guess people, and I'm not knocking any profession, but people go to, different types of professionals for years and years and years and years. And I don't know what it's like in Canada, but I know that the mental health situation here in this country here is really bad. Um, and and like I said, I don't want to take us away from, reset it, but just speaking about mental health, because I do find that dealing with a lot of people or talking with a lot of people, we all need someone to kind of connect with and relate to, or something to help us navigate through life. And so like I said, here in this country, here in the States here, I do find a lot of disconnect, with
It is
people.
here as well. It's
Yeah,
gotten
okay,
worse.
gotcha.
Yeah, since the pandemic, it's gotten worse as well. Especially if you
Yeah,
live in the
yeah,
urban center like we do, there's a lot of mental health issues. You can see it on the transit.
yeah, yeah. And so with that being said, when it comes to reset it, there's a foundation, there's reset, I think it's reown
Reset, reown,
and
and restart.
restart.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we have an idea of, well, if you can break down like reset in terms of when we into your program, what are we talking about there?
Right. So what the reset is really about resetting those programs, conditions that we live in. That's kind of like it feels like jail. You can't seem to break out of it, right?
Mhm,
So resetting those programs, conditions. And what ends up happening is re-owning is really about owning who you are, that you actually get to become who you want to be or who you're meant to be. So now
mhm,
you don't have those barriers around that's holding you back. You just get to be who you want to be. So if you want to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and do have this 3 hour morning routine. It's literally just a decision that you make for yourself. Like, hey,
mhm,
tomorrow, you know what? From now on, I'm going to get up at 4 o'clock every morning. And that means I have to be in bed by 9. So so I'm going to have do this at 4:30, do this at 5 a.m., do that, and whatever your routine might be. And it's literally a decision that you make and you just go and do it. There's not this,
mhm.
oh, I feel like this. Oh, but I want to go, I want to watch Netflix. Oh, there's not this tug of war going on between
Yeah,
what you
yeah,
want to do and what you think you should do, right? You
yeah,
just get to be who you want to be. And the
yeah.
and the restart is and also in that is when you do these resets and you reset those programs, you actually have more clarity about who it is that you are and what it is that you want. You can actually feel your body talking to you because
Mm,
our bodies are talking to us all day long. But for a lot of people, we live in our heads so much that we actually don't even hear what's going on in our bodies until like a big hammer gets hit over the head. But a
wow,
lot of
yeah.
times they're like little whispers, like little whispers. And if
Mhm,
you're running on ragged, where you're overscheduled, overworked, you don't have time and you don't
yeah,
have the capacity to hear what your body's telling you, right? But when you reset those programs aren't running your life. They're not running in your head like a wheel on a mouse,
mhm, mhm.
like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not doing that. All of a sudden you feel calmer, you have more clarity, you can hear and see things, you're more in tune with your five senses. And that's what tends to happen. And then you just get more clarity about what it is that you want for yourself. And it's literally a decision now. It's not this
wow.
process of, hey, I gotta do this for 60 days. Hey, I gotta do this for 30 days before it's a habit. I've been talking to people that are doing the sprints, 30-day sprint, 90-day sprints. You don't have to sprint anymore. What do you
Mhm.
want? What do you want to do
Yeah,
from now on? I want this. Okay, it's a decision starting tomorrow, starting Monday, starting the beginning of the month, whatever it may be. This is what I'm going to do, and just go off and do it.
wow, wow.
And then the restart is
Start.
exactly that, is you're restarting the life that you had envisioned for yourself. Because we always dream about, oh, I wish I could do this. I wish I was better at that. I wish I was, it's no longer a wish, it's just now a decision.
Mhm. That's some powerful stuff. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, it's
I love it.
bonkers.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I guess I'm still kind of stuck on the time frame. and because you said like, people go for 6 months, they're doing whatever they go through for 6 months, but you guys can pretty much wrap this thing up in 90 minutes. And I'm like blown away by that. And so I guess the question that does come up, Amy, is what is the bounce back? Because I mean, is that potential still there? And how did you deal with that when you have a client that when they start loading that sandbag back up, you know, does that happen? Can it happen? Will it happen? Or how do you deal with those types of
Yes, that's a really good question. So typically what ends up happening is when you reset something, it's done, it's gone,
Mhm.
that's it. However, I'm 55. I've been living in my program's conditions for quite a long
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
time. Right? So, there's always branches of that. Let's call it guilt, for example. There's always
Okay.
branches of guilt and there's layers of it in certain areas, right? So when you reset one, you get rid of this branch. But it doesn't mean that you got rid of all the branches. So you got to you keep resetting these little branches to get rid of them. But they do
Mhm.
go away because as a reset specialist, I still it gets easier and easier to reset. Where before it would be like this huge story, and now it's like, oh, it's just a feeling. And I go, if I have an opinion about something and I feel opinionated, I will do a reset on that because I'm like, I don't need to be opinionated about that because there's nothing I can do about it. Like, for
Yeah,
example, the weather. The weather is a
yeah,
perfect one, right?
yeah,
The
yeah.
weather is a perfect one because it's like it's crummy when it's raining and it's great when it's sunny.
Hmm.
If it's something that's too hot, it's too cold, or it's too windy, right? But
Yeah,
here's the
yeah.
thing is no matter, wouldn't it be nice if regardless of what the weather is, it didn't matter to you?
Wouldn't that be nice?
Wouldn't that be nice?
That would be awesome.
It would be awesome.
We
So
had the
you can do
discussion right
that,
before.
right?
Yeah, we had the
It's like,
discussion right before. I was complaining about that it was already too hot. You know? So, so now that you made me think about that, it's like, wow, why can't I just be in the moment of like, this is awesome still, you
right.
know?
Because here's the thing is we live in duality.
Hmm.
It's good or bad, happy or sad, right or wrong, yes or no, up or down, right?
Yeah.
Depending on what you think is up is good or down is bad, right? So we're
Yeah.
always living in this duality of right and wrong, right? If you're not right, then you're wrong. If you're not wrong, then you wish you were right, right?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's always like
Yeah.
this tug of war going on, and you're just like, oh, it's exhausting.
Yeah.
It's
It's very
exhausting. So
true.
it's like this, if it's sunny, it's great. If it's raining, it's crummy. If you listen to our culture, how we speak, listen to the
Hmm.
people around us. When we talk about the weather, people say, hey, it's sunny, it's great. If it's rainy, it's crummy, it's crappy, it's ugly, it's miserable. It's like all this negativity surround
Yeah.
around rain. Is it raining? Yes, it is.
Yeah.
That's it.
Is it, we can be very judgmental
Yes.
as a species. But now moving towards a word that and that I think about a lot, and my wife and I we talk about often is authenticity.
Yeah.
Now, if it's raining, you can call it, you can label, you can call it and feel however you want to feel about it. It's your choice. And my whole thing is like in every aspect of life, we have a choice, in terms of how something can impact our lives. And so, but now, if it's thundering and lightning and the wind is, tearing things up, is it okay to call it bad or crappy?
You can call it whatever you want, but
Okay.
but here's the thing is it raining and is the wind blowing and is taking houses down? Yes. Yes, it's a terrible situation out there, but you don't have
Hmm.
to label it because then you're
Okay.
living in that duality. It's always like
Gotcha.
yes or no, right or wrong, good or bad. If you're in the middle, that's where, see, we always think that happiness is when it's good,
Yeah.
right? But happiness is really in the middle of between good and bad. It's not
Mm,
right or wrong because no matter what happens, you're not being swayed by the situation,
love it. Love it.
right?
And there's
So,
a
for
certain,
example, let's relate it back to
yeah.
health and fitness. Let's say uh ice cream, right?
Yeah.
Like a ice cream, is it good or
Yeah.
bad? Would taste good, but it's bad for me. So
Hmm.
you're always in this no-win situation.
Right,
You
right,
can't
right,
win.
right.
So you know what I mean? It tastes so good, but it's so bad for me. So how
Yeah,
so how can you like that that's no way of living. Would
yeah,
you is that a good place to be? Like where it's like it's good and bad? Guilty
yeah,
pleasures? No, it's
yeah. Wow.
right. It's like,
Very enlightening.
yeah, it's like, okay, you know what? If I'm gonna have this ice cream, either I choose to do it or I choose not to do it. It doesn't matter what the reason is. Either I want it or I don't. I want the ice cream. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna order it, I'm gonna eat it, I'm gonna enjoy it, and that's it. If I choose not to do it, then you just move on to do something else. Okay, you
Move
know what?
on.
Now I'm on to the next thing, right?
And I
But
believe
it's
in
that
that.
tug
Yeah.
of war, and that's the die culture. That's why it's got this grip on us. It's got us handcuffed, right? Like you're in
Yeah.
this no-win situation. You can't win. You can never feel good because
Wow.
because you really want to enjoy because ice cream is tasty. Whatever
Yeah.
flavors you enjoy.
Yeah.
It's nice. Ice cream is nice. It's yummy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who doesn't like ice cream? I don't think there's not too many people that, but I'll tell you, if you say, how does it make you feel? Then it's a different story, right? They're like, well, you know,
That is amazing. That is amazing. But thanks for, bringing that up because, like I said, the duality thing, I think is so powerful when you say that, the tug of war. And
yeah,
now I've got to really I think awareness is so huge. Just being aware of your thoughts and being aware of the conversation that you're constantly having, with yourself on a daily basis as it relates to whatever. If it's ice cream or your decision on whether or not to go to the gym or your decision on whether or not to call in sick for work, all of these things, who are you being?
yeah. Who are you being?
Yeah, who are you being?
How about being like that like being your true authentic self is without all those programs and conditions.
Wow.
That's who we are. But, that's not how humans live. It's not how we live in this world. We get caught up in those parts. Some we picked up voluntarily, and some we just don't pick up. It just happens, and we just
Hmm.
absorb it. Like for example, as a kid growing up, I'm a visible minority in small town St. Catharines, small town, Southern Ontario. I was a visible minority, but also I was the smallest kid in class. I was like last picked in gym class for
Hmm.
10 years from grade 2 to grade 12. I'll tell you, that did a number on me, you
Like
know,
what?
like self-confidence, self-worth. Because here's
Yeah.
the thing, if you're in a class of 20 or 25, whatever the number is, and you're always last picked, guess what?
Hmm.
I took it as I'm not good enough,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because you're playing team sports. It doesn't mean you're not good enough. Well, it sure felt like I wasn't good enough because I'm last picked
Yeah.
every week for 10 years. Right. And not only I felt that way, but it also felt like everybody knew that I wasn't good enough to be, I
Mhm.
wasn't good at sports because I'm being last picked in front of everybody. And it didn't matter who was a team captain, I was last picked.
Good Lord. But
Right.
look at me
So
now.
what's that?
But look at me now.
Yeah. Right. But it was just like, wow, that's where that came from.
Yeah, yeah. So do you think that had something to do with your vigor for working out to combat that?
Yeah. Probably
Yeah,
because here's the thing, school sports was all team sports, right? You play basketball, football, or
yeah,
whatever the team sports were. When I go to the gym, I'm by myself.
yeah.
Like I was able to feel good on my own. I didn't need to be in a team to feel good,
Right, right.
right?
We're in
And
the
then when
movie.
I went to
Yeah,
the gym, like it was just so communal, it was so supportive, and people are chatting, it's
yeah.
boys and girls, right? And it was like a bit of a scene.
Right, right.
There's a bit of a social scene, little pickup scene going on in there.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you're like,
Exactly. Oh,
oh,
wait, yeah. It was
wow.
definitely what was it called? What do you used to call it? Like a meet? I can't remember what to call it, but it was definitely a place for meeting,
Yeah,
pickup.
yeah, yeah, a little
Yeah.
bit of a scene, right?
Yeah, it was a bit of a scene. It was
Yeah, and it
definitely
was
that.
fun.
Would you call yourself an introvert or an extrovert?
Oh, I think it's obvious. No.
Yeah, well, I want to always give you the because I'm probably well, not probably, but I'm more introvert than I am extrovert. But if I had to learn to be more extrovert, and and so that was always a thing with me because I grew up kind of like in the you know in a creative world, music, playing music and instruments and things like that. So that was a very lone, kind of a lone thing for the most part. Just give me my instruments and I'm good to go. And so that was me. So I had to learn to be more of an extrovert
Mm.
uh, as it relates to my business and things like that. So I had to kind of step out of my comfort zone in terms of that. And so and the reason I asked that is that when you're dealing with and working with clients, are they one or the other, or it doesn't matter?
No, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter to me. I'm probably more of an extrovert for sure.
yeah,
I like talking and I like being around people and
yeah,
I like to be center of attention.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
But as I've gotten older and this whole resetting has helped because now I feel like I don't have to prove myself. I don't have to seek something to feel fulfilled, that I'm more fulfilled inwardly on my own because of the
mhm,
reset it. So I'm definitely less extroverted, but still extroverted.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that I think that's, where, if I could be vulnerable here, because that's one thing, the word vulnerable, I have a hard time with that. My vulnerability cost me, my first marriage, I will say, and or the lack thereof.
Mhm.
Uh, and so I had to like really look at my areas of vulnerability, and I had to confess to myself to admit that I don't have it all together. you know, that I am this, you know, big, piece of like mess. It's like, wait a minute, what's going on here? So in my mind, in my world at the time, especially,
Mhm.
I had to really uh take out some of the sand in my bag.
Mhm.
Um and just to kind of like, really kind of figure some things out. But and live more authentically
Yeah. Yeah,
and
because
be
here's the
that.
thing is, yeah, you're absolutely right. Here's the thing is we all think that we need to be perfect. There's no such
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
There is no such thing as being perfect. There's no such unless it's math. Like, you know what I mean? Unless
yeah,
it's one
yeah,
plus one equals two, right?
yeah,
But as humans, there is no such thing. And we all feel like we need to be perfect
yeah.
when there's no such thing. And striving for perfection that way is exhausting.
Oh my God, isn't it?
It's exhausting, right? And do you really want to, that's not being authentic. That's just being unrealistic, right? And not really
Hmm.
being true to you as you, because none of us are perfect. We're all just
Yeah,
trying to figure it out, whether in business, in our life, it's like, okay, what's going on? Oh, it's this way. Oh, it's that way. The road is never a straight line, right? It bends sometimes, it's a fork sometimes, right?
yeah,
You just have to be more fluid and be more open to what the possibilities might be, right? And try
yeah,
to control less because controlling is really a figment of our imagination. There's no such thing.
yeah, yeah. I love
Right?
that. Love that.
And the thing
It
is, so
really
I'm trying
is.
to control it. It's like, yeah, you're trying to control, you can't control it. You can't control the outcome. You think you
Right.
can control it, but you actually can't.
Yeah.
And that too is a program. The need to control, that word control is a program, right?
Wow. Wow.
Perfectionism is a program. Doesn't
Yeah.
exist.
So who do you work with more so? Like you said, 40, the women for the most part. But at the same time, too, is it women that are looking to get healthier or women that are looking to, connect with themselves?
Right.
Or yeah, give me an example of your
Yeah, pretty
ideal.
much anybody. I mean, my background has always been with women. It's not to say that I've never worked with men before. Women tend to work with women better because we
Yeah.
have an understanding of one another much better. I think men and women can work, but it's very dependent on the man and how and their and who they are
Hmm.
to be able to
Hmm.
connect with women. But
Yeah.
women understand women, bottom
Yeah.
line,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so it's helpful. So I work with women in terms of whether it's weight loss, feeling better, or just, feeling less stress, less worry, less guilt, less shame, less, like, because, when you get to a certain age, everything just gets tiring. People come to me, they're just exhausted.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
They're exhausted from trying to uphold this idea of being perfect mom, perfect wife, perfect whatever, and still be a size 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Which is really unrealistic. So they're just exhausted. They can't make themselves a priority because they're too busy looking after others. So it's a lot of that kind of stuff. Now that I'm in my 50s and my clients being in their 50s, not everybody, but for the most part, I tend to attract the people that in my same age group for the most part. Not to say that I can't, help others, but yeah, getting off the diet culture, people trying to do like keto, eat less carbs, eat no sugar, don't eat fruit, like that kind of stuff. That, that is a program itself. So pretty much anybody that knows that they're in their own way and they just want to let go of that sandbag.
Awesome. 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 Miss Amy
Yeah.
Tsai, thank you so much, man.
Thank
I, I
you.
I I definitely I got a lot from just our what 45 minutes together. And as whenever I speak with you, I get so much value from, our conversations. And so thank you for hanging out. And please tell us, let everyone know where they can find you, how they can find you, because I really want them to really contact you, and because you have so much value to offer.
No, thanks. I'll send you the links, but I'll just mention anyways. It's reset-it.ca.
Okay.
Reset-it.ca. So
Yeah.
now, so with that program, there's 14 of us now. So you can
Okay.
pick your person who you'd like to do the reset with.
And yeah, exactly. But everyone, you should see the little thing down there. I'll put it down there at the website. But once again, thank you so much for hanging out.
Thank you so much.
You're doing so much good for the world, and I appreciate your journey, from that little girl that would never get picked, for whatever, athletic event was going on at the time. So what are some of your other hidden talents? Is it, other than just, music, is it, not music, but is it cooking? Is it music? Is it singing? Is it,
It's
what is it?
It's cooking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Love to
And,
cook. I'm into juicing, doing medicinal juices for my clients now.
Oh yeah. Oh, I have to check some of those out too.
Yeah. That's a lot.
Well, thank you once again for hanging out with us for a few minutes, okay? Awesome. So everybody, listen, I am thrilled, and I'm so happy that I connected with this lady here, because she is changing the world. And that's what we're all about here at Living Your Best Life. We're out there to connect with people that are world changers. And she is doing just that. So listen, everybody, get in contact with her, because she is authentic and living her best life right now. And she can help you live your best life too. So listen, everyone, thank you so much for hanging out with us, like I said, and I will catch you on the next episode of Living Your Best Life. Y'all take care. Peace.